Hi guys, it's Madison. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I've posted at least a full-length video. I try to post shorts a decent amount, but life catches up to me and here we are at the end of 2025 and I'm posting like what, the second or third video I've posted in the year 2025 in general. So, sorry. But anyways, this video is going to be about all of the books that I read in 2025. And I am super excited because I have so many thoughts and so many opinions about the books that I've read and just the hopes and dreams that I have in year 2025 with my reading goals and everything. I read a total of 12 books this year. And that is because I got out of a major reading slump in October. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that as I go through the books that I've read. So I'm going to start like right off at the top and we'll see where this takes us. Just a little disclaimer, I do usually only read very specific genres of books. At least in this year I did. Next year I'm hoping to get into different genres and different authors and kind of just finding what I like. But most of the books that I read this year are more contemporary romance novels, as well as just some different inspirations that I wanted to take. I do also like books with a little bit of spice, so that's a little bit of a disclaimer about the books that I'm reading. If you're expecting like the Iliad and the Odyssey, that's not what I'm doing. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about all the books that I read this year. Starting off strong, I have The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides. I believe it's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. So in the year of 2025, one of my goals was that I would read the books that I had bought originally before I bought any new ones. Once I got out of my reading slump and I really discovered that I wanted to read again, I was thinking about all the books that I have on my bookshelf that I need to read that I could actually start reading now that I was out of my slump. And one of the first books that I picked up was The Virgin Suicides. So I actually read this on the plane to go to Disneyland. I also went to Disneyland this year. If you guys want a full video about that, let me know. I'm happy to make one for you as a first time visitor and everything. But I actually read this book as we were going to Disney, me and my best friend. So I will always have like a little bit of a special attachment to it because of that. The Virgin Suicides is actually one of my favorite movies, the Sofia Coppola movie. It's one of my favorites. I've rewatched it multiple times. I love Sofia Coppola. I love the cinematography of it. The score is really beautiful. The actresses, I love Kirsten Dunst. So just, I was really connected to the movie. So I was kind of afraid going into the book if it would be anything like it. And I will say, Sofia Coppola, amazing director. I also love Priscilla. It was an incredible experience being able to kind of like go into the minds of these girls. And granted, it is told from a male standpoint. So that was also kind of difficult because you're reading about the lives, the tragic lives that these girls have faced. For those of you that don't know what the Virgin Suicides is, I'm going to just read the synopsis on the back. A quiet suburb of Detroit, the five Lisbon sisters, beautiful, eccentric, and obsessively watched by the neighborhood boys, commit suicide one by one over the course of a single year. So that right there, it's just basically recounting everything that the girls have been through, what was going on from an outsider's perspective. And the book is beautifully written. I do feel like the only problem that I had with it was that it was told from a male standpoint. And I feel like whenever you're delving into something as feminist and as female centric as literally the five Lisbon sisters, you should be told from a little bit of a female's perspective. But The Virgin Suicides was a great book. I rated it on my Goodreads, I think like 4 out of 5. It was really compelling and I really enjoyed reading it. I don't know if I'd reread it just because I feel like the movie is so much better. This was definitely one of the better, like, I prefer the movie adaptations that I've done. So definitely loved The Virgin Suicides. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. So that was really good. I finished that on the plane ride to Disneyland. So I think it was like 2 hours and I kind of split it up, but it was really good. The next one, this is actually a book that I finished yesterday. This is called The Holiday X-Files. It's by the author Jennifer Peel. Basically, what happens in this book is the female character, Cami, she has been cheated on by her husband, and she basically goes online and goes on like a whole tirade and edits him out of her social media wedding photos, and she starts a whole business of it, which is why it's called The X-Files. And she creates a whole career out of it. And people submit photos of their weddings or of different things that they wanted these people edited out of, their exes edited out of, and she goes and creates a business for it. So basically the book picks up like I think about 6 months to a year after her initial viral moment. And her ex-husband's best friend, Noah Cullen, actually comes back into her life, and they kind of have this like weird thing going on, and it's a really, really great book. And honestly, I was kind of confused by it like recently because it's called The Holiday X-Files. So you'd think, oh, okay, it's going to be about Christmas just based on the cover. But literally, I was like finished with the book. We barely got into like Christmas and like the last chapter. So this is definitely like a holiday read. I probably could have read it within the month of October. But it was a really great book. I really loved the um characters in it. And one thing that I am kind of weary on is whenever I'm reading, I don't really like self-insert narrations. That's just not really something I'm into. But this book has that, meaning like you can literally say like I faltered and had to steady myself, not loving where this was going. Like Cammy is kind of like a self-insert character. And I usually don't like that in books, but I really, really liked it in this one. And there was a lot of references to like pop culture that I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't like that. I really liked it. So yes, I loved The Holiday X-Files. This was a great book. 10 out of 10. Love the author. I definitely want to read more by her. So the next book on my list is the Snow White 2025 novelization of the film. Unpopular opinion, I loved the live action Snow White. One of my dolls back here is actually the Mattel 2025 Rachel Zegler Snow White doll. Like, I really loved the movie. And I love Rachel Zegler. Snow White's one of my favorite, or I would venture to say she's probably like my second favorite Disney princess because Belle's like on there. But Snow White is probably like my second. I have a lot of special memories attached to her. I grew up watching the film. My parents got me like a box set with the dolls and all the dwarves whenever I was a kid. So I really, really love just Snow White in general. I loved the film. I listened to the soundtrack. It was like I want to say like my second or third top played album on my Spotify Wrapped because that's how much I listen to the soundtrack. I have the vinyl. I'm a really big like live action Snow White fan. Me. Like a lot of people probably thought about that movie. Like who went to go see that? I did. I saw it like 3 times in theater. I'm not even kidding. I was obsessed with it. But regardless, that's why I picked up the novelization. And I was so excited about this because I do, as much as I love the movie, there were definitely like little plot points and stuff that I wanted to know more about. And opening up the novel, um, it surprised me with how perfect it was book to screen, but also the little details in it. Like you see little things about like her age or like maybe some more background. You get a little bit more background with Jonathan, who I absolutely loved in the movie too. So the Snow White novelization was actually the first book I read this year. um, and yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. I know a lot of people might not like that, but I loved it. So yeah, the Snow White novelization was 10 out of 10. Love that. And the author, I don't even know if does it have like an author actually? It's adapted by Elizabeth Rednick, and it's based on the screenplay that Disney wrote. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Love that. The next one I read is actually the second book that I read coming back from Disneyland. And this one is called Book Boyfriend, and it is by Emily Woolbury and Austin Sieg Broca, the author of The Roughest Draft. So it's like a double authored book, which I think is really cool. This book is about Jennifer Worth, who lives to escape into the world of her favorite romantasy series at Athelium Courts, and she basically goes to the Elysium Experience, which is one basically like fan Comic Con all about this favorite book series, and she basically goes to get away and just kind of deal with the fact that she just broke up with her boyfriend, or her boyfriend actually broke up with her. And then she ends up running into Scott, who is her nemesis at work. They absolutely hate each other. And you can guess where it goes from there. But it's a fantastic book. I really felt like Book Boyfriend delved into what it is like to be a fangirl. If you're a fangirl, you know that you're really into the things that you're into, and whenever you find experiences like the Elysium Courts where you can go and experience and be surrounded by all these people that are obsessed and love the same thing that you do, it's like you found a community. And so I really, really love the way that they adapted everything in the story. And I really loved the way that they describe the Elitham courts. They give her a lot of really amazing female friends that she has throughout the story. And of course, I love the character of Scott. I think he's so funny. So yes, that's definitely a wonderful book. And if you're a fangirl, you definitely should look into it. So Book Boyfriend, 10 out of 10. Loved it. Again, it's always going to have a little bit of a special attachment because I read it on a plane after experiencing Disneyland. So yeah, love Book Boyfriend. Oh my gosh. Okay, this next one. I have had this book in my library for I think about 2 years, a year and a half at least. And it's incredible. And I've heard so many things about it, and everyone tells me how amazing it is. And as soon as I picked up this book, I thought, okay, I'm going to read it because I had already read like the romance novel that I was reading at the time. And so I was like, okay, I need to read something on my to be read shelf before I buy anything else. And I picked up this book just thinking, okay, I'm going to just read it real quick. I'm going to read it throughout the week, throughout the next month, figure it out. I finished this in one night. This is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erica L. Sanchez. This book quite literally changed my life. As an eldest Mexican daughter, you strive to, at least personal experience, strive to be perfect in every which way and try to please everyone in every which way. And sometimes it's not possible. This book follows Julieta, and she just actually is grappling and grieving that literally the first few books, she's grieving her sister. Her sister is hit by a car, and she passes away pretty much instantly. And it's basically about Julieta kind of coming to terms with the grief that she feels over losing her sister Olga, but also really grappling with the fact that like her parents are struggling. And if you know anything about a Mexican household, if you're a Mexican woman yourself, you know how difficult it is to talk about emotions within that family unit. And this book just really does an incredible job, not only capturing exactly what it is like growing up in a Mexican household, but every feeling you have as a Mexican daughter. I finished it in one night. I think I started at like 8 o'clock and I didn't go to bed till midnight. I finished the whole thing, cried like a baby at the end. It is truly amazing. I know that they're adapting it into a movie, and I think America Ferrera is the one that is going to be directing it. So I'm very, very, very excited to see what happens with that adaptation. I really hope that it's perfect because this book in my mind is just the most amazing thing ever. So you need to read this if you are a eldest Mexican daughter. It truly is. It captures the experience of being an oldest daughter, being a Mexican woman. It captures so many amazing themes perfectly. So I'm Not Your Mexican Daughter. Definitely, I recommend it to literally everybody. Yeah, love that book. It has a special place in my heart. I think a lot of these books will have a special place in my heart for a while. So yeah, there you go. The next book is actually the book that initially got me out of my book reading slump. So I'm going to tell you about my slump before I introduce you to the book because I feel like you need to have a little bit of background. So in undergrad, my 4 years or almost 5 that I was in undergrad, obviously I'm a teacher, so you do a lot of reading. You do a lot of reading of children's literature. You do a lot of reading of children development strategies. You read a lot, right? You're literally learning about teaching kids how to read, right? So you're reading all the time. But I felt like whenever I was in college, I could not read for pleasure. I think I literally read like maybe like 2 books for pleasure the entire time that I was an undergrad. And it was just because I was constantly reading different academia material. And so it was really hard for me to pick up something different. And the reason that I even got out of my reading slump in the first place is because, for those of you that don't know, I live in Corpus Christi, Texas. And there was a new bookshop that opened that I had heard all of my coworkers talking about. Excuse me. And it's called the Cookie Pot. It is literally like a romance bakery bookstore. And whenever I went to an event at this place, and the reason that I even went to the event was because it was Gilmore Girls themed. It was a Gilmore Girls themed cookie decorating class, and I'll insert a picture of what my cookies looked like. It was an amazing experience. But the girl that I was sitting with at the table, she told me that she had been in a reading slump for a really long time, and one of the books that she read that pulled her out of it was The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and this is by Lori Gilmore. Um, and she said that it was a really easy, fun, really thematic read for the fall season, and I'm a big fall person. So she recommended it. And after thinking about it, like the whole time I was decorating cookies, I was like, you know what? Let me buy it. Let me see if I like it. So first, like obviously the cover is adorable. Like the pumpkins are so cute. And it is basically about this girl, and her name is, oh my God, what's her name? I forgot. Oh my God, what's her name? Jeannie. There you go. So Jeannie moves to this town called Dream Harbor, which is basically, if you've watched Gilmore Girls, it's literally like Lorelai moving to Stars Hollow. And she takes over her Aunt Dot's Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And in the midst of her moving and really uprooting her life, she ends up meeting Logan, who is a local farmer. And I'm not gonna spoil it just in case anybody wants to read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but chaos ensues and a lot of fun romantic things happen, and I really 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 loved this book. I think it was just like the perfect book for me to start reading, to get back into why I loved reading in the first place. Not only is it super fall themed and like perfect, there's a lot of like, there's a whole playlist that goes along with the book. It really just reminds you of like small town fall pumpkin patch vibes. It's cozy. It felt like as I opened the book, I lit a pumpkin spice candle and was drinking a pumpkin spice latte. Like, it's amazing. I really love this particular book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I have wanted to venture out and read the other books in the series because, for those of you that don't know, Lori Gilmore does have like a whole series of books about the characters living in Dream Harbor. So there's like the Christmas tree farm, and I think there's also like a strawberry patch pancake house. Like, it's very small town coded. And I have wanted to venture out and read the other books, but the only thing that's keeping me from doing that is I don't know if any of them will measure up to Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And from what I've heard from readers that have read the Dream Harbor series, is that they don't. So that is the only reason that I have not read it yet. Any of the other books in the series. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, it's really special. It's the book that got me out of my reading slump. That in combination with another book. But yeah, absolutely love the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. 10 out of 10. A lot of people I've been seeing actually like kind of hate on it. They say it's not a very good book, but I really enjoyed it. It was a really easy read. 10 out of 10. I loved it. Then next, okay. I'm going to talk about these in a series. I'm going to actually take a sip of water 1 second. My throat was getting dry, but anyways. So the next books are actually a series. This is Melody Bittersweet, a bittersweet novel, Crazy Spooky Love by Josie Silver. So Crazy Spooky Love follows the character of Melody Bittersweet, who is a ghost hunter. Or I guess not like a ghost hunter. I guess you could just say she talks to dead people. Literally, she's a psychic, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how I would identify her. She talks to dead people, and that's like literally what her whole family does. She talks to dead people, her mom talks to dead people, and her grandmother talks to dead people, and they have a whole family business about it. And so basically Melody decides to go off on her own and start her ghost busting business. And while she's doing this, there's a lot of different characters that come in from the side, including Fletcher Gunn, who is, I love that man. He's like, that's one of my favorite fictional male characters right now is Fletcher Gunn. But anyways, beside the point, I love Melody. And basically it follows the story of like what was happening in her life, and just the different circumstances that she's going through. She also has an ex-boyfriend that comes onto the scene who is also a famous like TV ghost hunter. She has really great friends around her. I love the chaos that she has with her best friends in the book. It's a really great book. Also, another fun fact about this story is that there's a pug. I have 2 pugs. love that. So that was the reason I even got this novel in the first place. Is I actually bought this before I bought the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and the reason I bought it is because I'm a very big like Halloween person. I don't know if you can tell in the background, I have a lot of like horror based stuff. I love Halloween, horror, anything spooky. I'm an October baby, so like it all just kind of runs in my blood. And so whenever I saw like the title of this, Crazy Spooky Love, I was like, oh, I need that. So I bought it. Um, and then whenever I bought it, I found out that there was another one coming out, which literally, I think it came out. I want to say I read Crazy Spooky Love in October. I read it in October, and I think I got this one last week of November, I want to say. This is the sequel. This is Kooky Spooky Love. I really enjoyed this one too. It's a different, completely different place that Melody is going to investigate. So, but Fletcher Gunn still comes on the scene. Her ex still comes on the scene. It's her family are still the same. It's a really, I really love seeing like the continuation of characters that are coming through within these two novels. And the author Josie Silver is writing a third, and I think the third is the final book in the series. But I'm super excited. These were two amazing books, and they're really easy reads. I think both of them are anywhere. This one was actually a little bit shorter. Ooh. Yeah, this one's not even 300 pages. It's 296. This one was a little bit longer. Crazy Spooky Love was a little bit longer, but really love both of these books. Highly recommend them. I think they're really fun, really easy, spooky read. Super fun. Love them. The next one I read, oh my god, this is Not So Mr. Nice or Not So Nice Guy by R.S. Gray. I ate this book up. And I originally bought it thinking that I was going, because whenever I buy a book, my intention is that I'm going to take like at least a month to finish it. And I don't know why I do that to myself because I'm a fast reader, so I shouldn't really do that to myself. But I try to do it just to like budget like my book habit. I don't know why I do that because I always end up finishing books either intentionally way faster or not so way faster, and then I end up buying more. But either way, I bought this book because I had just finished Crazy Spooky Love and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I wanted something that was a little less fall, but still a romance novel. So the premise of this book is Ian and oh my god, what's her name? How did I forget her name? Okay, well, girl, what is the name of her? Oh my god. Oh my god, I feel so bad that I don't know her name. Why do I always remember the male characters, but I don't remember the female characters? Like, that's not good. That's low-key misogynistic of me, please. Samantha. God, I'm so sorry. But her name's Sam in the book. So Samantha. Samantha and Ian are high school teachers, middle school teachers? They're teachers, essentially. And I'm a teacher, so I really liked that premise. They're teachers who are like best friends, like Jim and Pam style friends, like best friends. And a lot of stuff happens and they end up I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a really, really fun read. And I literally devoured this in like one day. I read it super, super quick. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. It's a little spicy, which I really enjoyed. And it's just like it's super fun. It's like a romantic comedy type style book. And it's just a really, really fun book. And what I really enjoyed about these two characters was that you could definitely tell that they had a really deep love for each other. Because they had been I think they've been friends at this point for a little over like 2 to 3 years. But they're just amazing. Like I love this book. I loved the characters. There's also like a little epilogue at the end that I really enjoyed because it kind of gives you a glimpse of to what their future is like. But yeah, I loved this book so much. I need to read more R.S. Gray. It's just I don't know if I'll enjoy the different characters in a different universe. You know what I'm saying? I just really love these characters in this book in this universe, and like I want more of that. But yeah, loved this book. Absolutely amazing. Now you can kind of start seeing my pile up. Okay, this next book is actually really important. This is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. Okay, how do I talk about this? Okay, so the reason I actually read this book was because I had originally bought this book whenever I was in college because I was taking a children's literature course and we were talking about banned books. And one of the books that comes up on the banned list all the time, and one of the authors that comes up on the banned list all the time is Judy Blume. And Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is a big book that is banned in a lot of different public schools. And this administration is honestly currently trying to, let's just say what it is, they're trying to censor all of us and our knowledge and what we can read about, what we can write about, and what we can learn about. They're even trying to censor public libraries, but that's another conversation. So I actually read this book during Banned Book Week, which is something that I think is super important in a time where your censorship is being constantly berated and it's constantly shoved down your throat. Like you can't do certain things anymore, you know? Like there's a lot of read, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Read, because we live in a time where it might eventually be taken from you. And so the more that you go out and purchase banned books, the more that you go out and support banned authors, the more that you go out and actually research and study and take in what these authors are trying to say, the more power you have as an individual, as a consumer, as a reader, and the less power the patriarchy and this administration have. So, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It's about a young girl named Margaret Simon who is kind of just coping with her family life, her move to a new neighborhood, her religious questions and confusion and trauma that she's had from this. I really, really loved this book, and I am really excited. I haven't seen the movie yet. I heard the movie is amazing as well. Um, but it was a great read, and I think I read it at such a crucial time. I don't know if I would have exactly taken everything as seriously as I would have whenever I first got this like 5 years ago whenever I was 19. I don't know if I would have understood the gravity of it. Um Judy Blume, amazing author, amazing woman. She is on the banned book list, and one of the things that she was recently quoted in saying in an interview was that you need to read more banned books. So banned books would basically mean like books that are labeled as unreadable and banned by certain public school districts, certain schools in general. Just like there's a whole thing. If you look up banned book list, you're gonna find a lot. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is on that. Animal Farm, 1985, Fahrenheit, or 1984, Fahrenheit 451. Like a lot of those books are banned because they tell things that the government doesn't want you to know. Anyways, but it's a whole topic in itself. If you want a video about book banning and what it is, let me know. I would love to talk about that more. It's a topic that I am so deeply passionate about. But yeah, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. 10 to 10. It's a pretty short book. I really loved it, and I believe I read it at such a good time, and reading it during Banned Book Week was something that is very special. So, love that one. Okay, I'm down to my last two books. This is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This book is about Annie Walker and the amazing, what is his name? Will. Oh my God, I forgot a male name now. Will is the guy that is currently protecting Annie's sister-in-law, because Annie's sister-in-law is like a famous singer. And so he is actually her sister-in-law's bodyguard, and they kind of just have like an interesting relationship. She's a flower shop owner. He's like a rugged, tattooed, doesn't trust anybody, and she's like super nice and super innocent and super sweet. And it's a really great book. Practice Makes Perfect. I read it within, I want to say, less than a week. And it's just a great story. I really connected with the character of Annie. I felt like she's just so sweet and so innocent, but she also does have like a lot of layers to her, which I really appreciated. And I really loved the character of Will. I feel like they were just perfect together. But yeah, Practice Makes Perfect. I need to read more Sarah Adams. She has a lot of different novels. So I'm definitely interested in reading more of her. But yeah, Practice Makes Perfect. I absolutely loved it. It was a great story. And yeah, absolutely love that one. And the last book on my 2025 reading list. It is not a book that I think it was like the second to last book I read. I read it before I read The Holiday X-Files. It is The Pumpkin Spice Meltdown, and this is by Kate Minty. And honestly, like, I kind of feel sad ending this video on this note, because I didn't enjoy this book very much. And I feel really bad about that, because it is the author's first book. And I got Pumpkin Spice Meltdown hoping to kind of replicate the feelings that I had whenever I read Pumpkin Spice Cafe. But just because it has pumpkin spice in the title does not mean that you're going to get the exact same reactions. So yeah, This book is about Natalie, who, after being in a relationship for about 3 years, finds out that her boyfriend is married with children, and she moves her life to a different place to live with him, and he like completely abandons her, and her whole life is uprooted. Now the plot, actually, the reason I wanted to buy the book was because of the plot. I was like, oh, this is like interesting, like I'm gonna see her really come into her own, which I did. Honestly, my biggest complaint with the Pumpkin Spice Meltdown, this is the author Kate Minte's first book. It is very obvious that it is her first book, and I cannot critique. I don't want to even seem like I'm critiquing her that hard, because she wrote a book. I've never wrote a book. Like, I want to. I've never wrote a book though. So like, who am I to critique? But I'm going to read you just like an excerpt of this, and you can decide how you feel. And I'm just picking a random page. She made her way to the cleaning product aisle, and Brian remained out of sight. Natalie didn't know what all she might need, but getting a few of her favorite staples was a good start. She'd stock tonight and have the rest delivered the next day. Natalie jumped when she heard "I'm sorry." She spun around, and there was Brian. "I'm also sorry for scaring you just now," he said. Natalie took a deep breath. "It's okay. Today was a rough day. Everything seemed to go wrong. Yes, you sent a lot of texts, and you are right. If I had not taken a few extra seconds to answer them, there would have been fewer. I shouldn't have taken it out on you this evening." Brian took a hesitant step in her direction. He looked sincere. Natalie believed he was sorry. Like, I felt like I was a robot reading this. I felt like it was very, like, it was like Natalie walked out of her apartment. Natalie looked at the side of the road. Natalie saw her aunt coming towards her in her purple jumpsuit. Like, it felt like it was written by like a fifth grader. I feel so bad saying this, but it's true. Like, I genuinely just did not enjoy this simply for the writing style. The writing style is just not my style. Yeah, it took me like a month to finish this because I was so disinterested. And even whenever I felt like the plot picked up, because I really did enjoy the relationship between Brian and Natalie, even whenever I felt like the relationship picked up and it was going to get more exciting, I still couldn't get over the robotic dialogue and the writing. Like, I just couldn't get over it. So I don't think I will buy any more of Kate Minte's books unless I see like a really big change in her writing style. But yeah, that was the second to last book I read of 2025. And yeah, that was my uh all the books I read in 2025. I read a total of 12 books. I am very excited. I already know what my next 2 reads are going to be. Me and my best friend Brianna are actually starting a book club. We're going to read. I'm going to put a picture of it right here. We're going to start reading Good Spirits by, I think his name's B.K. Borson, I want to say. Maybe it's a girl. I don't even know. But anyways, B.K. Borson. I'm very excited to read it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. What I'm going to try to do for the new year is to read 2 books a month. So I'll be reading one book with my bestie Brianna, and then I'll be reading another book on the side for my pleasure. So we're reading Good Spirits, and then the book I want to read on the side, just like for my self-enjoyment, is I want to read Carrie by Stephen King. I love the original movie. Like I said, I'm a big horror person. And I've never read a Stephen King book before. So that's another thing I want to get into, is reading like different horror books and trying to change up the genres that I read. But yeah, those are the 2 books that I want to read this year. Or at least in the month of January. Very excited to see how they turn out. But yeah, if you have watched this whole video and listened to me yap about books and this entire time, thank you for taking the time to watch it. I'm really excited. I'm hoping to be making like at least one video a month documenting how I feel about the books and kind of just like a book breakdown. I'm really excited to get back into reading, and I'm very excited to have fallen in love with it again, and I felt like it came at a very good time. So yeah, thank you all for listening to my books. Let me know what your favorite book of the year was. I think my favorite, looking at all these lists or looking at all these books that I read, I want to say I think my favorite is I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. Again, that book just really stuck with me, so absolutely love that. But yeah, let me know what your top read was. Let me know how many books you read this year. Did you read, like, I've been seeing a lot of people say that they read like over 100 books. I've seen some people say they read over 20. Some people say they read 1, but you know what? Technically, if you read 1 book the entire year, if you've read 1, you've read more than the national average at this point, because there's not a lot of people that are actually reading books, as crazy as it may seem, because you think like in your life, like, oh, I see people at the bookstores all the time. That doesn't always mean they're buying books. So be literate, read books, read banned books, don't censor yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.